This video is brought to you by Adorama. BLACKPINK recently came out with a new song, and what I always love about Korean pop music is the camera work in their music videos. And that is no different with BLACKPINK, so we're gonna break down and recreate some of their camera shots and transitions. Hey folks, it's Jordy here for Cinecom.net, and welcome to another episode of Copycat Friday, where we analyze and recreate famous film techniques. We've already covered the camera movements from BTS and the transitions from Twice, which had great responses, so let's continue the list of Korean pop bands with BLACKPINK and their latest music video, DDU-DU. Yeah, they can pronounce it better than me. Anyways, first up, I want to thank Adorama for their support. If you need any film equipment such as cameras, lighting, microphones, anything, Adorama is the place to get it. Not only do they run multiple promotions across the entire year, they also have a dedicated professional team that is eagerly waiting to help you out with any questions. Now you can click the first link in the description below to check out their web store. But now let's get into the world of BLACKPINK and recreate their opening set with no budget and only 1 day of time.
How to build a set without a budget. Well, actually the background did cost some money, and that actually looks pretty okay, but the rest feels more like those tents that I built when I was a child. But it's the idea that counts, right?
Now, most of the camera shots are created using heavy-duty cranes, which allows any complex movement to be done. However, we don't have that, and neither do you, I guess, so we're going to do it a little bit different.
Now, all the camera movements that we're going to show you guys today can either be done on a tripod or on a slider, which sits on the tripod, and on top of here goes the camera. It is also advisable that you have a second head, camera head like here, so that you can also do pan and tilt movements on the slider itself. This right here is the Canova slider, which was actually my very first slider when I started out. Then I have the Secular tripod. I started out with a Manfrotto tripod, but I didn't have quite good experience with it, which is why I switched over to Secular. It's more expensive, but it really works amazing, and it doesn't break or do weird things. Then on top of here we have the Benro head. It's the S7 from Benro, which is a very nice, low-priced, small head which you can put on top of a slider.
Well, let's start off with a series of slider shots. And by the way, guys, I have a bunch of links in the description below to the gear that we use, such as the tripod and the slider. Now, starting with the first is the Slanted Travel, which you can see very well in the opening of the clip. Rotate your camera plate 90 degrees so that you can mount the camera sideways on your tripod head. And with the slider pointing forward, you slide forward and slant the camera at the same time. Next up is the arc movement, a slow camera rotation. You lock the top of the tripod heads but loosen the tilt of the bottom tripod. This allows you to do a normal slide, but at the same time let the slider tilt so that you can move in an arc. That brings us to the last slider camera trick, which is moving with the character. If you pay attention to the scene with the swing, the camera moves back and forward just like that swing as well. You simply push your camera forwards, but also tilt on the bottom tripod so that your camera goes up. After that, you can reverse that same movement and just follow the speed of the swing. Now let's ditch the slider and go solely on the tripod. And this one I call the readjustments, a camera movement that is done pretty often throughout the clip, where they start off with a weird camera framing and then adjust. This is of course not so hard to do, just make sure that your camera movements go fast and that you don't move the camera in the beginning and ending position. The next one is pretty cool and super simple. You want to create super fast movements or just camera bumps on a specific dance move. Here I'm filming Kim, where she's hitting her fists in the air. To emphasize that, I'm actually hitting my tripod on the same moment.
I look so beautiful.
So these were 5 iconic camera movements from the clip. Next up, we have a few more transitions. And the first one is the continuous movement. Basically, you follow your subject slow in one direction and then cut to a different scene where you go in that same direction. And you can also let your actress do a dance move in that direction. The more visual elements flow in one specific direction, the smoother the transition looks. The same transition movement can also be done by sliding forward in your first shot and then also sliding forward in your second shot. And then we have the readjustment transitions. Just like we've seen before, the camera will readjust its framing. And this time you start with a proper framing and then suddenly tilt to the bottom. You then cut to the next scene, which starts with a framing at the bottom, and you quickly tilt up. And then finally are some post-production tips. You want to avoid cutting every time on the same beat. So to make your music video more surprising, you could add some jump cuts on a specific movement, like when you slide forward when there's a faster part. And having so many different shots and fast cutting, you also want to pay attention to the point of interest. If your subject sits on the left side of the screen, then make sure you also cut to a shot where she again sits on the left side of that screen. And that way the eyes don't have to look around the frame to find the next point of interest. And you're winning a second, which allows you to make that fast edit. And if you do want to jump to the other side of the screen, then make sure to guide the audience. And this can be done with the camera or the subject movements. Here Kim sits on the right side of the frame, but before I cut to the next shot, I let her move a tiny bit to the right. Automatically, our eyes are trained to follow that, but before she actually moves, we cut to the next shot, where Kim sits on the left side of the frame. And our eyes will instantly catch that as they were already going in that direction. And those were the camera movements and transitions from BLACKPINK, 뚜두뚜두. Thank you all so much for watching, and don't forget to check out the links to all the gear that we used in the description below. And like always, stay creative.
Ja.
Ja, doe maar.
Nou, dat gaat niet. Je moet zeggen 1, 2, 3, bam!
Ah ja, oké.
Allee.
Klaar? 3, 2, 1, bam! Doe dat nog eens. Oké, 3, 2, 1, bam!